Amin Amin Ya Rabbal Alameen. We will all be interning or graduating sometime soon. So I am sure most of you guys are attending because you probably don't want to mess up any of your interviews. I bet some of us are struggling with the preparation to go to interviews, such as strong dress codes. We also might not know the necessary documents that are needed to bring along. So our program offers the opportunity for all of us to fix the mistakes from happening, and we will gain important points to ensure we can ace our interviews and write our resumes. Mr. Ishak Karim will be delivering the first talk of this talk, which is acing your interviews. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the program. Thank you for having me. I have to apologize. There was some a little bit issues that I had that I cannot come at 9:30. I hope that I can speed it up a bit so that we can still meet it on time. What I plan to do today is not so much of the lecture because it seems like from a moderator point of view, the program looks very formal and is Saturday morning. I don't want it to be so formal. I want to be like, me just talking in a very informal way. I'm not going to be presenting so much of the technical stuff anyway. What I'm hoping is all the participants will ask the questions as I go along or towards the end of the session. So use this opportunity to ask as much as a question as you have, so that we can meet our goal by the end of the day. I don't have so much of the slides to present. That's what I normally do in some other programs as well. That I prefer to have question and answer sessions more than me talking alone. So that's how we're gonna do it. Are you guys gonna present it from your side or I present it from my side?
You can present it, sir, as discussed before.
Okay, give me a second.
There's a bit technical issues regarding our speaker. We'll be starting soon. Sorry.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I don't know what happens. Can I present? Can you present from your side then? Something is not right, and then present it from your side. Hello, anybody?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. It's already presented.
Okay, next page, please. Okay, so next page. I'm gonna give you a bit of introductions who I am. What's my background is. Yeah. So I start my education in Sekolah Menengah Jingka 6 and Jingka 2 for my SRP and SPM, and then I got drafted to offer the scholarship to continue my studies in the US, and that was a 2-year 2+2 program at that time. I spent in KPPITM in Subang Jaya before I went to US to do my bachelor, and also followed by my master's. Then when I came back, I worked in product engineer as a product engineer in Siemens, and now in Pinion in Malacca. Then I was recruited to take the project in Richmond, Virginia, in the US for 5 years. After 5 years, and I came back to Kulim. Then I took 2 short-term assignments to Villach, Austria, and also to Dresden, Germany. Then I came back and then worked in Kulim for 6 years. Then I moved to Freescale in BJ for 4 years there, and I now moved to Malacca again as a product development engineer and a manager, and finally I was doing the automation project manager before I quit from Infineon Malacca last December. These are my children, my wife and my daughter, and my daughters, and then also my son, who's also the ex-student or alumni of UIA. Okay, so next. Next slide, please. Okay, so another activity that I do all the time now, pretty much, I would say a full-time. It used to be a part-time, and now I'm active in LinkedIn. That's why I think many people discover me. Among the activities that I do is answering questions, comments, and posting on the qualities, and also doing resume review, mock interview, and career coaching as well. Normally supporting fresh graduates, and then young professional, and also students who's looking for internship. Next. Okay, so now let's talk about your interview skills, and how can you do well in the interview if you get invited to come for interview. The thing is, the very first problems that the typical to everybody, including the experienced one, nervousness. You become very nervous, and then when you become nervous, then you cannot be yourself, and then you have to be calm. and then confidence and positive, and also focus on the interview. The nervousness happens because most of the time is you are yourself, or the candidates are sabotaging themselves by downgrading their capabilities, because they are scared to look at these people that interview. They are technical person, high-level technical person, or high-level management. Of course, you're going to be interviewed by these people. That is a given. You cannot say that you want to interview with somebody that is same age with you, or same position, entry level with you. It won't happen. Therefore, there's always in the situation at which you are on the lower rank in terms of knowledge and skills. Then you have to remove that arbitrary or artificial gap that you have created, and then be confident. It's not overconfidence, but be confident. Well, if you study, or if you're well prepared, you know about your position, you know about the company, you may know about the interviewer by Googling, get some information, then you have a little bit of confidence. But this confidence will show. If you don't have no confidence in your answer, and then you cannot answer very smoothly, that affects your performance during the interview. And the next one is be positive. So this is the thing that, many people having the problems. Many of my clients are having this problem that comes in as a negative mind. What if I can't do that? What if I, all those what ifs, and then it comes the way, then that is the problem. When we say in Islam, if you are not sure, you are was, right? And then the Satan will come and disturb you. The same here. If you're not being positive, then it's going to be difficult. And then just focus at that time. What I'm asking for is just 40 minutes, half an hour, depending on how long the interview is. The longer, the better. Just stay focused on that. You and the interviewer. Even if you had some problems or whatever else that you had before you come for interview, just put it aside, forget about it, and then focus for that. It's only 1 hour. Prepare your elevator pitch. This is among the important elements that you have. You prepare the elevator pitch. So this is the first slide. For example, tell me about yourself. So this is at which you're gonna prepare your elevator pitch. In this case, you have a lot more than elevator pitch. Normally, elevator pitch is very short, but this one you have up to 5 minutes. So this is the time where you tell about yourself up front in the summary form, so that you manage to hook. You hook the interviewer on you. This is also your first impression, because that's your first question. Send the first impression to give the impression whether you are good or not. Sometimes it's too late, and then you show your true color towards the end of the interview, where you become more comfortable and become more calm, and then become more confident as you go along. And most of the time, by that time, it's already too late. You really have to know what 4 minutes is. Yeah, some of you do not know how long is 4 or 5 minutes timing, because most of the time when I ask the questions, tell me about yourself, you answer it in less than 30 seconds. The expected answer is in the range of 4 to 5 minutes. Don't be modest. Yeah, these people are talking about, be humble, be yourself. No, in this time, just this 1 hour, sell yourself. Everything that you have that you can sell it. Everything that you can sell, bring it forward, and then make it bigger, make it stronger, make it attractive. For you, maybe something that is small, but for the interviewer, maybe they appreciate you a lot more if you're selling yourself and then tells everything that you have, especially your technical skills and your soft skills and what you can do, what you can contribute. Make an eye contact. That means when you talk to these people, especially when you do virtual interview, you really look at the camera as if you're looking in their eyes. I know this is difficult because especially Malays, this is not normal to do it. You look people in the eyes, but in the real world out there, especially when you're working in MNC, And when you're talking to people from eye to eye, is you mean serious. In Malay, normally we talk a bit heart to heart, yeah? But in English, we do it eye to eye. So you make the eye contact, meaning you're really serious. You talk to the person, you look at in the eye. Body language, this is, it depends on how far your Zoom is, especially when you do a virtual interview. When you do face-to-face, yes, it's easier to see. But if you do it virtual interview, your movement of the body, which is normally the upper body onwards, tells who you are. Even though you say yes, but you're nodding, then it means yes, means no. Even though you say you're really confident the way what you're talking, but your body, your eye movement, your part of the body that moves tell you something else. So that would be the issue that shows that you are not, you're telling something else, even though your verbal is something else. Okay, next. Be yourself. So this is the thing at the point why many people try to act, yeah? Try to not to be yourself, and then you try to become somebody else, and then it comes from your voice, the way you speak, especially when you let's say you are memorizing your text, and then you're practicing. So say, for example, I'll give you an example. If you normally, this is what I've seen in all the students a program, yeah, the graduate university programs, where the moderator or the MC, speaks to everyone during the introduction. Is the speech is good, the sentence is perfect, but it's not you. Yeah, you acting like somebody else. It's not you. Therefore, the connections between you and the audience does not exist. If you do it the same thing during the interview, because you are rehearsed all the questions, and then the way you speak, it becomes very robotic, very very cold, and you have no connections with the interviewer. That is not good. That's why I say be yourself, and then speaking from your point of view, and then also from you, because what they're hiring is you, not somebody else. If you pretend to be somebody else, and then they expect you to be consistently pretend to be somebody else for the rest of the career, which is not a good expectation. Yeah. Then you prepare your thought-provoking questions. This is where interview is not one way. Interview always that's a call it interviews. It is between two people. Therefore, it's not just them asking questions and then you answer, but you are also expected to ask questions either along the way during the beginning of the discussions. If you wasn't sure on his or her explanations on the certain topics, you can ask questions. You don't have to wait until the end of the question. Then the problem is when you do it at the end of the question, at the end of the sessions, I noticed some of the candidates, they don't pay attention. Yeah, they don't pay attention during the discussions, during the answering of the questions at the very beginning, and then towards the end, because they already prepared a question from home before coming to an interview, and the questions, some of the questions are already answered. And then please don't repeat the same question that is already answered. If you didn't pay attention, then you're gonna come into that topic. That's why stay focused and remember what has been discussed. And then when you ask a question, to make sure that the question has not been answered earlier. Then they use the STAR method. So this one is called STAR method. Yeah, situations, task, action, and result. The STAR stands for. Normally we use these questions to answer the questions in the situation. At least, let's say, for example, the question asks you, tell me where you. Give me some example of the problems that you are very proud of because you managed to solve them. Yeah, and then you say you start talking about this problem, and then by saying what is the situations of the problem, then what tasks that needs to be done from your brainstorming session, for example, and then what actions out of those tasks, actions that you're really taking, and then what is the result of your actions. And then this gives you the full story of how you describe on the problem-solving steps. You can also use the steps if you're familiar with either 8D or Six Sigma or root cause analysis, fishbone. So all those standard cost problem or problem solving tools that you are familiar with. And then you do a follow-up quickly. That means quickly here, because right now everybody has a cell phone, right? In the old days, we have to get to the laptop, to get to the computer to get the response. And then you follow up immediately, follow up quickly. Here means that you can send a thank you notes for the impression and for the opportunity, because we want them to remember you, to recognize you, and then remember you. First, you have to make the impressions during the interview itself, so that you are going to be different than the rest. You're going to be uniquely you, different from the rest, and you have character that nobody else has. That's why it's very important when you answer your questions is you go above and beyond the standard answers that you get it from Google. Because if you find the answer from Google, and then everybody will use the same answer. If everybody uses the same answer for that questions, then you cannot be unique. So that is the problem. You have to be uniquely you. You have to be able to present and then sell yourself. Then you give them some times and then do a follow-up. First, you come up immediately, I would say within an hour or two. Or if you need to drive and go home, first it's okay. As soon as you go home, and then you write a thank you notes replying to the invitation. And normally during the interview, if you can ask their email of the interviewer so that you can send a response, or if you send a thank you notes. Or you can send to the organizer, normally HR, and then ask them to forward to the interviewer. And then give them 2 weeks. Normally they need 2 weeks. But from my experience, in most of the cases, if they like you, if they already interested in you, especially if you're fresh graduates or young professional, they can make decision very quickly. In my case, from my experience, normally I make decision either today, if the interview is in the morning, or the day after, if the interview is in the afternoon. They already can make decisions. Unless they say I cannot make the decision yet, I have to wait for the rest of the candidates. Therefore, it takes some time, but normally a good company, they will they will arrange the interview back to back for the candidates, and then they may need a couple of days to do the interview, and then they can make the decision already within a week. And then 1 week, and then you can call or can ask what happens, what is the result of the interview. Most of the cases, you're going to get a very quiet response, or they don't respond to you at all, or people call it ghosting. The issue with this is if you don't get the job, if you've definitely been rejected without even comparing to the coming candidates, there's very likely that you're going to get ghosted. But if you are the candidate of interest, they will definitely respond to you. That is pretty much the hint of sometimes that if they don't respond to you, that means they're not interested. In Malaysia, they're so unfortunate, but they don't like you, they don't say anything. So that is the hard reality that we in the community is trying to push towards the direction of to provide a feedback from the interview, especially from the employer. So this is, I don't know when it's going to happen, but with the power of internet, the power of LinkedIn, and everybody making this noise, hopefully things change. Like anywhere in Europe, and I understood that in Europe it's illegal for not to respond to the candidates. I think in US it's the same thing. It's not illegal, but it's the common practice that they respond to the candidate. Not all the candidates that they who applies, but especially for those who come for interview. For those who applies, normally, you don't feel so frustrated if you don't get invited for interview. But for those who are invited and spend the time to come for interview, they would expect some kind of answer from the company from the HR, and then I would say responding to the 5 to 10 people at the most that you call for interview is not really that bad because they're not coming on a daily basis. So you can always respond to them. We are pushing very hard towards this direction as a community, and hopefully that will happen soon. Okay. Next. Okay. Before the interview, the thing is, it's very important, and then you research your company that you're interviewing for. So that means that to show that you really have the interest, and then you do know about the company. For the big company, normally it's not a problem. You can find their Facebook page, they can find their website. Even though some website in Malaysia is still not that interesting, it's not that much of the information, it's not active. Facebook and LinkedIn is better. They are more active in terms of more modern or more, how should I say, more up-to-date information. You can find a lot of information, a lot of activities in Facebook or LinkedIn, especially if they launch certain products, if they're doing meetings, or they work for the big companies or this kind of thing. So for the smaller company, for SMEs, I would imagine they have some activities also in Facebook. That's the thing that they want to promote. I don't have a Facebook myself, I don't know, but that's what I heard, that in Facebook, for those smaller companies, they prefer to go with Facebook in promoting their brand. Then you can go there, you can study this company. But if you cannot find anything about this company that you're applying for, that may be something that you have to, it can be considered as a red flags that something could be wrong with the company if they don't exist anywhere in the social media or in the digital world. That is very strange to me. That is, if they're really a legit good company, they don't appear anywhere. Study your resume and know it well. This is at a situation where you have your resume is written by somebody else. I know some of you has a very, has a good money, and then you pay somebody 500, 800, even 1,000. I heard my customer told me that he paid 1,000 ringgit for somebody to write a good resume. If this is the case, then if you pay somebody to write your resume, then it is very likely that you don't contents. Even you do know, but the meaning in the contents is different than what it is. So you really have to know your resume, because your interviewer may ask the question from your resume is not in the order. And then it just probably goes back and then back and forth and then try to pick the question from your resume. But if you don't understand your resume, especially when you're talking about your achievements in the resume, your achievement should be in your resume. But say, for example, in the resume, you have an achievement, you help to improve the company profit by 20%. And then you better know what you're doing to improve the company profit for 20%, especially in your industry. In the industry of your choice, the industry that you're going to go for the interview is the typical profit growth in the range of 6 to 7%. But you in your resume saying that you made it 20%. That is good. That is great. Then the interviewer want to learn, and then what have you done differently from the rest of the community, the rest of the industry that you're really so great. Therefore, you really have to, you have a better argument, a strong argument to really, defend yourself. Else, you're asking for trouble. So understand every single detail in your resume. It's not only on the face, on the literal contents, but also on the face value. You should know. Yeah. Then this is the I've seen among the biggest issues, especially for the youngsters. They don't understand the job description. Yeah, the job descriptions of the position that they're applying for. Sometimes I don't blame the candidates, because the hiring manager or HR who puts up that job descriptions, sometimes it's too local in terms of terminology, also in terms of abbreviation. Because this kind of terminology or this kind of abbreviation or acronyms is used in their internal company. it makes sense to the internal people, but it does not make sense to the outsiders, especially your acronyms that they do it by themselves. It's not a standard acronyms. For the standard acronyms, maybe everybody knows. Therefore, for you, you really have to understand the terminology and then the acronyms in the job description, so that if they ask a question regarding that terminology or regarding that technology or regarding that acronyms, you really know, you prepare your answer, you know what it is, you know what it does, and you really know what it's all about. But if you don't understand every line of the job description, and then it's very difficult for you to prepare, to elaborate on, to answer the questions. Then you predict your job interview questions. This one, if you Google it, you may be able to get some sample questions, but not all of them, because some hiring manager, they just go with the standard internal question, because for the big companies, they do have their, because they want to standardize the interview, then they do the interview questions. They have a standard interview question. Give me a second. They have a standard interview question internally because they want to control the quality of the interviews. The good thing is, if you do have, let's say, if you do have a seniors that have gone through, or your classmates that have gone through the same interview for almost similar position, even different position as long as the engineering, for example, and then they may have these standard interviews. And then you connect with them, you get to know what was, if they remember, to share some of the interview questions, because normally it's standard questions. They have it, and you can prepare the answer, or you can even ask your friend what was their answers. Then you see whether the answer is good, because to me, if he or she gets the job, most likely the answer is good. And then, of course, you don't copy exactly the answer that the previous answer. But you can use it as a guideline, what kind of answer you have to give. Then the answer, of course, have to be you, not copy your friends or your friend's answer. Then it becomes like your friends, it's not you. But you know the quality of the answer, you can know the series of the questions that they're gonna ask. So this is the trick that you have to go. That's why it's very important, especially now you are in the final year. You really get to build your connections, yeah, because these people is going to help. And just don't bother with people say you're using cable or using anything like that. That one is very negative. But if you're using the internal employee to get a job or to get to the interview, then at the same time you are really good, you deserve that position, I don't see any problem. I don't see that as a problem anyway. This is how the thing works, and then you have to get your network. And then if network knows you very well, especially your seniors or your people that you've been working with before, your ex-colleagues and everything like that, they know how good you are, they can help you to do the selling as well. And normally the big companies they prefer to have to recruit somebody from their referrals, because I don't think you, the referee, want to sabotage the company by proposing a bad candidates. Even if they did, and then if they fail the interview, they cannot make it anyway. So network is very important, and then get to know these people again, get in touch now, so you get familiar with them. It won't shock so much, right? It's not like after so long that you have not contacted this guy, all of a sudden you contact these guys. Then that's not going to be good, yeah. That's going to lead to misinterpretation of what your intention is. Next. Okay, this is the thing. When we talk about this, answer the questions, you have 3 to 4 minutes to answer one question, unless you got kicked out. Yeah, if you got kicked out of the room, or you got kicked out of the question, or get disturbed by the interviewer to move to the next question, then that's okay, be it. But you keep talking. As I mentioned earlier, do timing. Make sure that you know your 5 minutes. Make sure that you know how long is 4 minutes. How much can you talk in 4 to 5 minutes? Yeah. Display your skill with a concrete example. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, I know AutoCAD," for example. Yeah, I know AutoCAD. And then the way you answer this kind of to show the skill is describe the project that you do that you use AutoCAD, and then what feature that you are familiar with, and then in this which project, how big is the project, what is the impact of this project to the company or to your client that you're working with. And then give an example. If you're doing a problem solving, say give an example of your problem solving, and then you give the real case that you solved the problem, one or two of them, and then show all the method that you use, and then the impact of it, and then what would be the result of your problem solving. So provide all the example in terms of numbers, figures, results, and then your real life example, the best. Yeah. Please don't make up anything that you don't do. That is quite dangerous. If you cannot answer it, because the experienced hiring manager knows if you make up your problems and then you make up your example, it's not from your experience, then it's very likely that you can get caught. Prepare an interview toolkits. So this is is basically the folder that you have. Yeah, the folder, especially pen. You should have this pen, pencils, or paper, or you bring enough copy of your resumes, transcripts, and then you bring your real documents, the original documents in a very nice arranged folders for them to show. You have a checklist to make sure that you bring all the information that they want. One important situation that I got complained a lot from the HR is candidates do not bring pen. Yeah, because right now, especially the youngsters, they think everything can write on cell phone. Why do I need pen? Yeah, then can you fill up the form that they have with your cell phone? Obviously not, because they have a physical form there. So always bring your pen, bring your backup. Maybe one pen doesn't work, because maybe one of your pens that been sitting around for so long that it doesn't work. Bring your pen along. It's very important. You're gonna use it. Either you fill out the form, because it's a lot of paperwork needs to be done. A lot of things that you have to sign before you attend the interview or after the interview. So be prepared with this. Dress well, because the way you dress is the first impressions on how you are. Some people told me that, hey, I'm just going to apply for Mat Kilang. Normally I've seen these people go to work only with jeans and beat up t-shirt. This is the thing that I don't understand recently. I don't understand how I can see the youngsters, especially the youngsters, the experienced guy, they don't do this. The youngsters, especially guys, they comes in with a very, beat up jeans, like they take it from the hamper. It smells like, I don't want to go there. And then they also comes with a very beat up round neck t-shirts that looks, very pathetic as far as I'm concerned. Especially when you work for the big companies. This is not a good impression. Even though, yeah, you see these people are wearing t-shirt, but when you come for interview, comes with a very good dress, really iron out, nice shirt, you really iron it nicely, you wear tie, you wear a jacket or coat if you want to, wear your slacks nicely iron, your belts, if you have a facial hair, trim your facial hair nicely or shave it all together, even better. Have the haircut and then do your nails. You don't have to do your nails like the girls that goes to salon and everything. You can do it. Yeah, just trim your nail, trim your facial hair, and have the nice haircut and everything. So that gives a very good first impression. don't copy your friend. Let's say you have a friend who's been there for a couple of years, and this is how he dressed to go to work. No, don't copy that. That is not. It's not a good idea to come to the interview with beat up jeans and then beat up rounded t-shirt and then with the flip flops. That is not. I've seen that, but that shouldn't be the case. Yeah. So you build your rapport, a handshake, your smile, and a small talk. So this is something that is quite difficult sometimes. Yeah, I have to admit that to smile all the time is not that easy either. But you really have to show that you have a good personality with why you're talking, why you answer the question, you smile, you show your impressions, and then if you have meet face-to-face interview, then you have a very nice firm handshake with the guys. So. How you shake your hands is that it determines your personality. What I noticed recently is, especially for young candidates, they're not interested in shaking hands. The way that you shake hands, so it's like the sincerity is not there. Yeah, you don't. It feels like you don't really want to shake hands, but you just use that and only the tip of your hand, and then you really have to learn how to shake hands. Yeah, and then when you shake hands, you don't pull your hand out until your interviewer pulls the hand. Yeah, just hanging there until the other guy pulls, because that's into certain culture is a rule that you take your hand off first compared to them, because then before that you have to wait until they are the one who offers your hand. I'll give you a second to let them offer the hands. If not, then you can offer your hand. Yeah, to handshake. If for some reason you don't want to take the hand, you can, especially when, let's say, for example, if you're guys and then there's a girl extend and want to shake and you don't want to, and it's fine. It's fine. You can reject, and then by putting your hand to your chest, then it indicates that you don't want to take that. In Malaysia, it's okay. Be calm. Didn't already talk about it earlier. Yeah, just a duplicate here. Confident and positive focus. Okay. Next. Okay, so this is the start that I was talking about. Yeah, so describe the situations and then what was task and situation and what was the action that you did and then what were the results. So this works all the time. Use these star methods. Okay, so that's pretty much. I think I have a few more pages there for interviews. Then we take a break and then we continue. Yeah, give me a few more pages, please. Okay, so this is what I was talking about for the dress. Yeah, for the guys, this is how you're going to dress. If you want to put the jacket, it's also fine. If you don't want to put the jacket, it's also fine. But this is how you're going to dress. As plain shirt as possible. Is a plain tie. It's not so striking. And then the black dark shirts, dark pants, slacks, and then your dress shoes. Nice haircut. Everything is really nice and clean. Try to be as plain as possible. Yeah, it's not so fancy design, fancy logos or things like that in your shirt. But then try to be as plain as possible, which is like this guy. You can have a shades of color, whatever color. If not white, the best is white. But if you want to put a bit of color, then you use the lower tone on your shirt and then the darker tone on your pants. Of course, if you like those purple, dark purple, or dark red, or dark green, or whatever pants, don't wear it. Yeah. And then for the female, if you're wearing scarf, you can come with baju kurung. It's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with baju kurung. Also, if you want to wear other than baju kurung, then this is an example in how you do it. And then if you want to do a free hat, this is how you do it. Yeah, female a little bit more flexible in terms of dress, but for the non-Muslims and then the Muslim as well, do not overexpose whatever that you think that you want to expose. And if you need to button up, you really button up. If you need to wear white shirt, please wear a little bit thicker shirt, not too thin. then this is the thing that you have to take care. Okay, so that's it for that, and then we have a break, 5 minutes. How long is the break?
The break will be good for 10 minutes. Sorry.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Do we have time for break? Do we have break 10 minutes to be finished by 11:30 or 11:50? We have, right?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will, because we will come back at 10:40, and then continue the second part until 11:30.
Okay. Good. So, any question before we go to break, or we will break now? Question comes later.
If possible, just break, and then later on we will answer. We will give some questions to you. Is that okay?
So, let's do break then. Yeah, comes back at 10:40.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. See ya.
Thank you. See you. We will having a 10-minute break before continuing with the second part of the talk. A reminder to all our participants, please fill in the attendance form given in the chat box for those viewing in the Google Meet. And for those that are viewing from the YouTube Live, please refer to the description. Thank you. Sorry, Encik Ishak.
Yes.
Your mic is on. It's not mute. Is that okay?
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay. It's just okay. Okay, thank you for still being here with us today. Again, I would like to request for the participants to ensure that your mic is on mute. I hope you guys had a nice cup of tea alongside with you. We are going to continue with our second session, resume writing. Passing the floor to Mr. Ishak.
Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have a nice break and we can continue with the resume. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so let's look at the resume contents. A little bit of a disclaimer, yeah. I have my don't bother about my background. I was playing with the background that was given to me. It was flipped. It was anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's not meant to be festive, but anyway, don't pay attention to the background. Okay, so what I'm saying here is about resume content is I'm not saying is mine is correct or the best, but there's in the resume writing there's nothing, there's no right or wrong way of writing the resume. Yeah, it's more like I use the word either is effective or functional. If it's not effective, it's not functional, that's something that then it doesn't work. Yeah, it's because you don't know what's out there. But what I'm trying to do is on a regular basis is in my session, I want to make sure that your resume works. At least at the end of the day, your resume is your ticket for you to get called for interview. Yeah, so that is what we're trying to achieve. Then people say, hey, my resume is tip-top, but I don't get a job. That is something else because your resume only gives you the ticket to get for interview. Then if you cannot perform during the interview, you still don't get a job. That is the next step. Yeah. That one is you have to do your interview preparation and everything, how to answer those questions, which is we cover a week. Sorry, now my screen frozen. Okay, so pictures. There's a debate. I'm going to go through the content first, and then I'll show you how it looks like on the sample example. And then on the picture, you have a passport format with a smile. Nowadays, as many people put pictures. So the question is whether should you put the picture or not. It's not a must, but in Malaysia, it's a common practice. It's not a must if you don't have anything in your picture in your resume. The thing is, if you feel like having a picture. Let's say you're not so confident with your picture, and then with the picture you think you're not going to get a job, then don't use a picture. Yeah, eventually they're going to see your picture anyway later on. But at least after you get called for interview, then they want to see your picture. Use a standard format or the passport format. If you take your selfie and then make it, you take it in a passport format and then remove all the fancy background and everything. Then your background should be plain. You can edit it if you want, but the best is a passport format with a smile. It's a real sincere smile. So your personal information, do not give out too much of personal information because I've seen there's too much going on in personal information. That's dangerous, like in your MRC number, date of birth, your full address, your races, your marital status. Those are not relevant. Yeah. So what goes into the personal information is just your phone number, your email, your location. That's 3 items, enough. Or maybe you want to show your LinkedIn profile. Yeah. The rest of the detailed information, when you get called for interview, then there will be a forms that you can use. Yeah. They give you a form, the application form where all the information details in there. That is after the interview, not in your resume. The point is, you never know where your resume ends up to be, yeah? And then hopefully you don't have any enemy or anything like that. And if you do, or somebody's looking for you, really want to hurt you, they know where you live, they know your locations. And if somebody wants to, use your available or provided IC number for the, let's say, loan applications or anything like that, then it will messed up your credit. Yeah. So for safety purpose, those personal information do not need to go into resume. Career objective or career summary. This is many people get it wrong. Yeah, I would say 80% or 90% of the fresh graduate gets it wrong. Your career objective or your career summary is not what you want. Yeah, it is what you have to offer and then how you can contribute to the company. It's not what you want. Normally people write, I'm fresh graduate, I'm looking for opportunity for position, then I want to learn, I want to grow my skill, I want to grow my career. So that is not your objective. That is not your summary. That is what you want. The summary or the objective should be what you have to offer, and then how can you contribute. This is the part of the summary. Next. And then you go with the personal experiences. For those who have professional experiences, of course, you have education first, then you have professional experiences, which is that include your internship and your part-time. My point here is do not underestimate your part-time job. Yeah, be it in retail, or you do it in McDonald's, or you do it in any restaurant, or you do it in any small company retail. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're still your internship, your part-time really carries some value, because the hiring manager wants to see whether have you been working or not. If you work regardless of the environment, and then most likely you can do well when you work in the professional setups. Therefore, highlight your part-time as well. Anything that you do more than 3 months, for example, anything less may not be that significant, but anything more than 3 months, and you go into your part-time basis in your work experience. Then I missed out here on the education part, and then for the education part, you only provide your diploma onwards. Yeah, anything that happens in high school, anything that happens in the sekolah rendah doesn't count. So the SPM result, STPM result, SRP, or P3, whatever, that doesn't count anymore. Only your letters, unless you don't graduate. Yeah, you don't graduate for whatever reason, and then your highest education is STPM or SPM. Else, if you graduated with a diploma and degree, then those STPM below STPM or SPM that doesn't count, and below, and also the metric also doesn't count. Skills that is relevant to the job that you're applying for, and then all of these skills that is relevant. Skills here can be normally people write just the computer skills, but skills can be technical, can be software, can be hardware, and then can be also soft skills. So you have at least software, hardware, and then soft skills. So these three skills that you have under your skills. Then the co-curriculum activities. So co-curriculum activities for you as a fresh graduate or as a student, that is your professional experience. Let's say, for example, we can elaborate later on the question. But this, let's say, for example, you are president of whatever club that you have, and then your club member has 400 people, and then you are the president of the club. So that is the same way you're running a small company. Well, with 400 people, it's not that small, but still considered a small company that runs. Then you are the CEO of that 400 people company. Then below you, you have all the managers, which is your committee members. So you write it as what are your roles and responsibility as a president of the club, and then what are your contribution. That's the same way that you write your professional experience. The contents in the professional experiences, always you have your roles and responsibility, and then your achievement and your contributions. Refrain yourself from writing all this, the detailed task list that you do. That one, it shouldn't be in that, but what should be in that is your roles and responsibilities. Yeah. Language, if you speak other than Malay and English, and then those are the only the thing that goes there. Yeah, that means if the job description requires you to have a Mandarin or German or French, then you say you do have that language to a certain extent. Malay and English. If you're Malaysian, you are expected to have this language anyway, unless you are not. And then they require Malay, then you write that you can be able to speak Malay. Yeah. Referee is optional. Don't write available upon request, and then just leave it there. If you want to have the referee, you include 2 of them at least. But if you don't want to have it in the resume, it's also fine. If you need that space to write something more important than your referee, you can just remove that part. Yeah. Okay. So for the resume contents, the first impression counts. Yeah, because this is the first time that the hiring manager HR sees you before seeing you in person. Yeah, you are the same. Like if you want to go and buy, I don't know, maybe buy a car, for example. Yeah, before you go to the showroom, you want to see the brochure. And so this is a brochure that tells everything about you. Then will interest you to go to the dealership. Else you won't go. Yeah. So this first impression is very important. How you design your resume, what goes into your resume. Make sure that you are different. You are uniquely you. You are not like the same like the rest of the class. This is what I've seen most of the time. You write your resume, maybe a copy from your friend, I don't know, and then everybody in UIA writes resume the same way. Probably you attend classes, I don't know. But they're pretty much the same. But in reality, you are uniquely you. And then how do you sell yourself to be uniquely you? Yeah, make you stand out of the crowd. Then when people can see all the information very easily understood and easily acquired from your resume, then it's already conditions the hiring manager that how good you are. And then with that, then they make assumptions. That's the best they can do. They make assumptions. They cannot make a conclusion yet, but they decide whether or not to call you for interview based on their assumptions. And then the skills, you have to do it very clearly. Yeah, everything is job related. It's not talking about sports. You're not talking about hobbies. You're not talking about the projects. Unless your hobbies are related to the job that you're applying for, that you've done some hobbies, you've done some activities outside, then it's related to the job. Else it's not related. You just focus on everything is job related. And then you have to get your basic right. This is a lot of complaints that even during my review also I've seen a lot of these as well. The simple mistakes like spelling, like grammar, and then this is obvious. Don't depend on Grammarly so much. Don't depend on the built-in spell check of grammar in your words. So if you're using words, and I'm not sure whether Canva has this feature, if you're using Canva, be sure that you check, because some of the words are correctly spelled, grammatically correct, but it's in the wrong context. Be sure you check it. If you can't, let somebody else check it for you, especially the grammar and then the how you write. I mean, does it really what you want to say or not? If you use the wrong grammar, the wrong words, that it means something else. It's not what you want to say. So your basic flows then is your CV or your resume. Your resume cannot be more than 2-page long. Yeah, your CV you can write as long, it doesn't really matter, but your resume is keep it in 2 pages. But from my experience that I've seen so far, a resume should be enough. You don't need to have your CV. Okay, next. Sell yourself. As I said earlier, it's a really, don't be afraid to boast about your achievement. So this is a chance to impress. This is the only chance that you have before you go for the interview. And then just, tell about yourself and then decorate a bit about yourself and the way you use the word and how you sell yourself. The same like you go, let's say, for example, give an example of McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's sells their burgers. Their burgers looks very juicy. Their burgers have a lot of fresh vegetables and a lot of good thing in it. But you go to McDonald's, you buy nothing, right? It doesn't show like what's in the picture. The same goes here. I mean, when you sell yourself, you decorate a bit. It doesn't mean that you don't have. You have letters there, but it's not as fresh. Yeah, you have tomatoes there. It's not as fresh. And then your they have meat in there. It's not as juicy maybe, but that's how they sell. So you do the same thing, but you sell everything that you have, and then let them decide whether they're going to buy you or not. For you, you just sell. Okay, and tailor your CV. I don't want to go there because for a fresh graduate, you don't need to tailor your CV, but if you're experienced, then you do have to tailor your CV. Yeah. Next. Okay, so this is a typical format. Whatever color you use, it doesn't really matter. This is a resume template that is popular nowadays. Yeah. Excuse me. It's very popular nowadays. This is somehow the youngsters like to use this format. So you have your photo, you have your full name up here, and you have your education for a fresh graduate, working experience, personal information, only phone number, email, location. That should be enough. And then this is your summary, skills, language, software, and then your working experience. Working experience, you write your position, your company, your duration from when to when, and then your role, responsibility, and your achievement. Yeah. Then the academic projects. Don't underestimate the academic projects. If you have the academic project, let's say it's a final year project and then design project, this is how you present it. Your title, your motivation, technology, methodology, then your achievements goes in there. This is as good as I think for me, if your program has a final year project and then design project, this carry a lot of weight because you are kind of working probably about what, a year and a half, maybe a year. Yeah. So your real working experience there. Therefore, plus here and there, then as you graduated, you are actually equivalent to 2-year experience roughly. Yeah. So therefore, if you have a job out there saying that they need at least 2 to 3 years experience, then you can apply. Yeah? Because actually technically you do have experience in your working in the project, and then you're working your internship, then it adds up. Okay. So you back please. Not yet. Referees, as I said, you have 2 referees, and then extracurricular activities, and then introduction. What is the significance of these activities, and what are your roles, responsibility, and achievements. And if you have volunteer work, it's the same thing. It goes in there. So this is how you, in the framework, how you design your resume. However you design it, whatever color you use it, it doesn't really matter. But don't over decorate it with the charts, with the figures, with the logos. Put the text in it. Yeah? There's no logos, there's no pictures, there's no excessive decoration, there's no charts, there's no ratings, everything like that. So just like that. Okay, next. So if you prefer to do a plain text, this is actually my real resume. If you do a plain text, this is how you do it. Yeah, you put your summary on the top, and then you follow by working experience. If you're experienced, if you're not experienced, start with education first. Education goes top, and then if you're experienced, education goes last. Some skills that you have goes last. The rest just describe or summarize your achievement, your working history from just a little bit of role responsibility and your achievements. The more experience you have, the more you have to focus on achievements rather than your role responsibility. And then in some cases that if you have experience, that you have to tailor it just to focus on the job that is relevant to the job that you're applying for. So in my case, because I've been doing the same thing over and over, that's everything is relevant. So if you have a different experience, the one that is not relevant may not go there if you have so much of the experience already. Okay, not sure whether the next page, but I think that's pretty much it. Okay, this is the thing. This is a bonus, yeah? Just a little bit, I'll give you a second on this. I've received a lot of complaints from the hiring manager that many youngsters don't know how to write email. That's so unfortunate, yeah. But this is the thing that they ask me. They say, please, in your program, you tell your students and how to write email. So therefore, this is what I do. Yeah, you make sure that you understand what to is. To is to the attention of the people that you write. Yeah, whoever, HR, or, for example. And then you have a CC. Yeah, CC is carbon copy. In the old days, we have these carbon copies, stencil. You are not old enough to see this, but the carbon copy. If you're sending a copy of the information, and you want everyone to explicitly see this, so including the intended owner too, and CC, everybody will see it. And then there's another section called BCC, it's a blind CC. That means if you are sending them a copy and you do not want the people into and in CC knows about it. Normally this is gossip or something that you want to talk about, yeah. But or sometimes some political thing at work, and then you use BCC. And then the subject. The subject is the intention of the email. Yeah, many people write the intention of the email and the subjects, or the body is empty. So this is the thing that is not right. All right, next. Give you an example. This example of my old email. Okay, so if you have a subject, it's very clear the intention of the email that you write, and then you have an attachment. You mention what to do with this attachment, and then in your body you mention you attach what, and then what is your intention. So in the body of the email, that you really have to explain everything. Yeah, what you want them to do. Most of the cases, most of the time, the young candidates only attach a resume, nothing there. That doesn't help. Yeah, and then you can write. You can write you applying for the position, and then tell the story a bit on your body of the email. Unless you have the cover letter as a separate attachment. Even so, you can say attach are my resumes and cover letter for the purpose of applying for the above position. You have to write something. Yeah. And then please use proper English or Bahasa Malaysia with the correct grammar and everything. No WeChat, no WhatsApp, no FB short forms or emoji. Yeah, do not translate from your mother tongue into English. Use a proper English. Yeah, I think that's my last pitch, and I'm ready to take the question and answers. I saw a lot of questions coming, yeah, but somebody. Let me see whether I can read it from here, or I need somebody to read it for me. Okay, let me scroll up. Questions. Question from Nur Shahida. If the interviewer asks, what is your weakness, sirs? How to answer this kind of question without appearing a weak person, but also not giving a standard answer? Okay. The intention of asking the weaknesses is not to attack your weakness. It's not to find out how weak you are. The reason for this is to see whether you are aware or not, because you are human. Everybody are human, including the interviewer. Everybody has their weaknesses. Are you aware or not of your weaknesses? And then what are you going to do about it? Sometimes your weaknesses can be your strength. So this is the whole intention of this. I hope people stop asking this question. To me, it doesn't make sense. Now we are striving very hard in the LinkedIn community not to educate the hiring manager not to ask these kind of questions. If they want to ask this kind of question, it does not mean that you are showing them your weaknesses. Or you just tell them, yes, I do have these weaknesses, 1, 2, and 3. This is I'm gonna do about it. Yeah, I'm working towards improving it, and then this is what I do. Then enough. Yeah, you don't appear weak whatsoever. And you really have to show that you know about this, yeah. And then to do this, you can do your SWOT analysis, SWOT. If you do your SWOT analysis, then you know what your weaknesses are, and then what are your threat. S is your strength, W is your weaknesses, O is your opportunity, T is your threat. And then you know how to address your weaknesses. If you do it, then you really have to really look at in yourself and then be honest, because excuse me, when you answer this question, then people know how honest you are. Yeah, you have to be honest on this. Don't worry about being judged as weak or a weak person. It's not to judge, to do it as weaknesses, but just to focus on what are you going to do to improve it. Yeah.
If you don't mind, is it okay if I read the questions to you?
Sure.
Okay.
That better that way because I cannot see the screen very well at this point.
Okay, so then the second question is from Sister Nadira. Is co-curriculum certificate still a compulsory item to bring during interview?
If you don't have a co-curriculum activities, then it sounds very weird. Yeah, you are not in college. You are somewhere. I don't know where, but you are somewhere. That shows that you are. That is really gives a not so good impression to the hiring manager that you. Let's say, for example, if you're giving a job, you're giving a work as an engineer, you don't participate in other activities, then it's not good. Because at work, normally we have fun at work, we have team building, we have all other activities that is out of your job scope. And then we want to see whether you are a volunteer kind of person or not, who likes to do something outside of your main job. So we can see that how balanced you are. But if you just don't, in college, you just focus, you get 4 flat, but you don't have no curriculum activities, that doesn't help you much. Because we know that if you don't do co-curricular activities, then you don't have these soft skills that we're looking for. You don't have experience in soft skills. So if you don't do it, I mean, if you don't have, then I cannot say anything because you cannot fake that you do have. But the implication is if you don't have, it's normally you're not a social person. You are just do by yourself, focus in your studies. That's even worse. If you don't have co-curriculum, then your result is not that good. Then that's not even worse. So co-curriculum is the place at which to complement your experience compared to those who with experience. It's really nice to have, very good to have. That's why the university is doing it. It's so pity that if you don't take part in co-curriculum activities, it's not much we can help. Right?
Okay, and the third question is from Brother Izwan. For interview question, please introduce yourself. What information should we include and exclude from answering that question?
The question was, please introduce yourself, right?
Yeah, please introduce yourself statement.
So that is the first question that I talked during the interview session just now, which is the icebreaker, or it can be an icebreaker, it can be a pitch. You tell me about yourself is basically you answer the question, why should I hire you? It's the same thing, but it starts with introduce about yourself. So you want to give the overview of who you are, and then why do you fit for the job. So you go with you start with your paper qualification, that means your degree, and then your skills, hard skills, and then the soft skills. And then how can you be beneficial to the company? So this one you can elaborate if you have 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you can elaborate. And when you say this hard skill, where do you get this hard skill from? Then you say you look in design, you work in design, for example, then you show where do you get this experience. Let's say you work in design, I've got it during this, in the final year project, I do this. In the IDP, I do this. And in the volunteer work, I do this. That shows where you get your experience, and then your skills, and then your knowledge. So I think if you follow that story, you focus on that, and then filling up 4 to 5 minutes is not that difficult. Just walk through of your experience. Then you say, why? I already mentioned in my resume. Yes, it's already mentioned in your resume. That's one thing. Second thing is, yes, you mentioned your resume, but this is how you're gonna give the first impression to the hiring manager by telling you, so that you won't miss anything. Because if the hiring manager lose interest in you, they may be cut the interview instead of schedule for 1 hour, they only give you 10 minutes. Then they're not interested. That is simply because they only just, first few questions, they're already not interested in you. But this is the conditions at the very beginning where you want to make sure that they are interested in you. So you give them everything up front as a summary, then the detail will come later. They're going to have a follow-up question later on to give the details of it. Yeah, your paper qualification, your technical skills, where you get it, your soft skills, and then how you can be beneficial, and then the example of where you get all those information, all of those skills and knowledge that they're looking for.
Okay. And then next question from Sister Aisha. She wants to know your opinion regarding video resume.
Okay. Resume in Malaysia is not really practiced yet. Yeah, it's not practiced yet. I'm not against resume. I have no problem with the resume. But if your resume is worse than your resume, you better not. Yeah. If you really want to do resume, you really have to look at the contents of the resume. Especially if you want to show, a good thing about resume is you can show your communication skills and how you present yourself in your resume. But if the quality of the resume, this is what I've seen a lot of resumes, especially the youngsters, yeah, they like to resume. I've seen a lot of them post in the LinkedIn, but the quality is horrible. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't meet the expectation of the hiring manager. The quality is horrible. You better not, because the quality of your resume normally is related to your resume. If your resume is already not to that quality, and then your resume is normally a lot worse because you are copying the same thing of your resume into resume. But during the transition, because you have this audio and a video topic in it, then it makes it really worse. And then your background is not good, your audio is off, and the work of the graphic is really not that good. And if you do have a very good quality professionally done resume, I'm all for it. But if you do it yourself at home using your poorly lit environment and then your poorly audio video, then my opinion is rather not. Then you are sabotaging yourself, rather. It doesn't help.
And then next question is from Brother Khairi. Is it appropriate to ask about the salary during interview?
No. The thing is, this is a topic that always everybody wants. Everybody like to talk about salary, but not during the interview. Interview is not the idea to ask about salary, unless they are the one who's asking. What do you expect to get? Then you can start talking. You never initiate the salary question, even if they ask. You never initiate the salary question. The strategy is the same like you go and buy the product, right? You go and buy the expensive product. Let's say you go buy a bungalow. You bring, let's say, suppose you are married, even though you are not, yeah. Suppose you are married, you go and get the bungalow, and then you already walk with your significant others in the bungalow, and then they sell all the quality, all the good finishing, all the good thing about this bungalow, and then your significant others like to have it. And then it looks like you have no choice. You have to buy the bungalow, right? But if you're already upfront, they tell you this bungalow is going to cost 3 million, most probably you won't walk in because you're afraid that your significant others will force you to buy a 3 million ringgit bungalow. You cannot afford it. So the same goes here. You go in, you tell all the features because you are expensive. You go and tell your features. If they like it, you already conditioned their mind that they like you, and then salary is no objection later on. Right? Then you really focus, then it really shows that you're really interested in the job, not so much on the money part. Yeah, salary, leave it towards the end. They decided to hire you, then there will be a separate session of the salary discussion right after, or in second interview. Besides, as a fresh graduate, you don't have much options to negotiate anyway. You are now on the the winning side in terms of negotiate, because you really don't have a basis to negotiate of your salary, really, unless you have experience or you have a unique skill that can help you. Yeah.
Okay. And then next question from Sister Farihah. She have two questions. How do you sell yourself without overselling yourself? And the second one is, will having a referee make you stand out? What is the use of it?
Okay, the first part of the questions, how do you sell yourself without oversell? There's no such thing as oversell, yeah? There's no such thing as oversell. Unless you're making a heel out of a mole, then you are really boasting like totally unreasonable. Then you kill it. Yeah, you spoil it really. But the same like you look at people who sell the product. Yeah, you talk about the product, the quality of the product, and then how you're going to use the product, and then what benefits I get of this product. And then that is selling. Yeah, it's not oversell. Unless you say this product can make you, I don't know, can make you white or face become shiny or whatever, but that doesn't make sense at all. And then that's oversell it. But if this is something really within the range of selling it, and then you really, sell who you really are. The problem with us, especially in Malay, is you are so much of, afraid of selling yourself. And maybe you say you want humble, you want to be, down to earth. That one in the interview, you cannot be this person. You have to change yourself 1 hour just to say, yes, this is the time for me to showcase what I can offer to this hiring manager. I give everything I have. So that is the selling part. Yeah, there's no such thing as oversell unless, again, what you mentioned is really doesn't make sense. Let's say you make an improvement, it become 100% increase your revenue in 2 weeks. That doesn't make sense. That is really oversell. But if it's something that makes still within the reasonable industry practice or industry achievement slightly better, maybe then it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Referee. The second question was the referee, right?
Yeah, referee making standing out. Yeah.
Okay. The idea is one is, let's say if you have very known people, celebrity, or the company that you're applying for, you have some influential people in the company as your referee. It helps you. It helps you to get to the interview. It doesn't help you to get a job. Yeah, it helps you to get to the interview, which is good, which is something that we're looking for. Then you can show yourself that you're really good. Then it helps. That's one thing. That's mainly the thing. Yeah? If you put somebody that nobody knows, who cares? It doesn't make any difference. But you put somebody that everybody knows, or at least the company knows that particular person, maybe that particular person has a good connection with you. Let's say, for example, you are from UIA and use my name. Yeah? Then Infineon knows who I am. And then most probably that with the recommendations, and then they will call you for interview. Yeah, say for example, like that. And then the other purpose is to verify. Yeah, if they feel like something that you have in your resume is fishy, yeah, it sounds like really strange whether that is really the case or not. And then they're gonna call these people as a referee to verify. They call one person verifies it, and then they call another person verifies it, then yes, it's correct. Therefore, this normally occurs if your resume sounds fishy. It looks too good to be true. Yeah. Else, no, I don't think they have time to really verify. Unless they really, after the interview, they still cannot decide, they have additional questions, they don't want to call you, they call your referee, then your referee hopefully can clarify certain doubt that they have. That's why it's very important to choose who your referee is and make sure that referee can really represent you. If your referee, most of the time when we call referee, and you can say, hello, I'm calling you because Farihah is applying for this position. I want to verify a few things. And then it goes, Farihah, who? I'm sorry, I don't know this. And then done. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to disturb you guys. Have a good day. So this is a typical scenario that we have. So it's very good that if you apply for a job in your resume, you identify your referee. Please give a copy of your resume to your referees so that when we call them, they can know the content of your resume, that they can help out. At least they can pretend that they know. Yeah.
Okay. Next
I hope
question.
that answered the question.
Yeah. Next question from Sister Hanis. What about ATS Friendly Resume? Do companies really filter the resume using software?
The ATS Friendly Resume is the company using the system, the ATS system to screen. Is that the question? Yes. If you apply online, yeah, because the big companies, MNCs, normally they use this shared online application software that has an embedded ATS on it. So if if you apply online, most likely they're using ATS. So it's better to be ATS friendly, even though in some cases you hand deliver it to the person. It's common practice. It's good to have the ATS friendly. So and if you're applying on the line apply online, it's very likely that they're using ATS. So you really have to learn on this. What is the characteristics of ATS friendly? It's very clear upfront. That is very obvious. One is there's no graphics, there is no logos, there's no icons. In Malaysia, is your picture is acceptable, and then some other part of the world, so picture is not acceptable. So those graphics, lines or boxes or charts that you're using, those are not ATS friendly. Just keep to the plain text. Even though you hand delivered directly to the hiring manager without going through the system, I think if you stick to ATS friendly, then you are safe.
Okay, next question from Sister Alia. What is the most suitable question to ask if the interviewer asks, "Do you have any more questions?"
So this is the difficult part, right? Because you guys are not familiar with asking questions. And then how to ask questions, you also don't know what to ask. You can imagine, right? If you're interested in a guy, what kind of question you will ask this guy? So if you don't have any question, that means you're not interested. That's simple as that, right? If you're interested in somebody, you are dying to know about this guy, right? You want to know everything about this guy. Or you ask your friends, you ask whoever, you do you Google, you do a Facebook search, you do a lot of things just to know this guy. You look at the old pictures to make sure, whether this is right or wrong. Tons of questions. In your mind, it goes, I don't know, maybe just me. I don't know. Tons of things goes on in your mind. The same about the company. I have tons of questions. That probably because I have experience. Yeah, but for those who don't have experience, don't know what to ask. And then you can ask about maybe why is the position is open. Is that the replacement of the previous guy? If the replacement, why the other guy is leaving? Then you can ask how big is the organization, how big is this department, how many people. You can ask dynamics of the department, whether it's the mix of the races in this department or the race makeup of this department. Yeah, you ask about the working culture. Is that really when they say it's 9 to 5? I really expected to work 9 to 5, or there should be in an overtime, and then is overtime pay the allocation for the overtime or not? And then how is the company culture? How's about during the festive season? What do you do? Or do they have a team building activities? Or do they have they have a pantry corners? Or how the canteen looks like? And then is it what is the opportunity for career growth? It's a lot of questions that you can ask in this kind of along that line. And then anything that, if you let your mind wanders, there will be a lot of questions. And you can say, in your website, you say you're going to be doing this and that. What would be the impact of that new product coming? For example, if you know about the new product, and then when is that the new product is coming? Can I be part of that new product development, for example? So you have a lot of questions that you can ask. Yeah, except the salary, the benefits, all this kind of thing, right? Unless they really open up the topic and talking about compensation and benefits, then you can ask about benefits. Not about money, but you're talking about bonus, you're talking about medical benefits, talking about insurance, you're talking about you're talking about you're talking about EPF, because don't assume it's a big company. Normally they do your EPF, they do your social, but a small company may not, which is illegal. So it's something that you have to have the interest on whether or not they contribute into your EPF and social. You only find out that you don't have social when you have accident. You find out only you don't have the EPF when you want to apply for study. To withdraw the money to fund your studies or to buy your first home. So be sure that you do all of these are done. On the very first month you get a job, and then check in your EPF whether you got the money inside. Or you check with social guy whether you're registered.
Next question from Sister Karim. How do you see the importance of LinkedIn for graduates nowadays?
How is the importance of LinkedIn?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is a good platform. I'm not biased. I don't work for Infineon. I don't work for LinkedIn. I don't get paid anything from LinkedIn, even though there's a misconception that I make a boatload of money from LinkedIn. I don't. It's a good platform. I think it's really a good platform where you see all the people that you need to be connected to. So this is good for your future. But the precaution here is you really have to be active. But you don't want to be a superstar. That's okay, yeah. But you're active in the sense of you are communicating with people of your circle, of your interests. Let's say, for example, if you're in engineering, if you're an engineering group, yeah, then you deal with these all engineers out there, and then they know who you are. And then 2 or 3 years down the road, when you're ready to be recruited, you'll be surprised that you're going to be recruited like crazy if you're really visible. So it's very important to be visible. Not only write the post, you comment somebody else's post, share your opinion on certain topics that we discuss. You join the professional group. There's a lot of professional groups in the LinkedIn that you can join related to your field. You can showcase your activities there. You can ask questions. If you have problems, you can post and people will reply to your problems, be it technical, be it non-technical. There's a lot of benefits out there. It's not just to get a job. Yeah, what I've seen is the youngsters come in, post to apply looking for a job. They copy the post from I don't know who. Everybody writes the same way, and then they get a job and then disappear. And then a couple years later, they appear again looking for another job. It doesn't work. Yeah, that doesn't work because that's not how social media works. I don't know about FB because I'm not in there. Probably FB, if you disappear, you still can be seen. But in LinkedIn, if you disappears, you disappears. Yeah, then you have to rebuild your brand. So it's very important to get connection with the people who is hiring, because not many people advertise the job in the job section because they don't want to pay. So they advertise in the in the post section, which is free, and then that's where all the thing is happening. But if you're not active, and then your feed will not, they don't know how to feed you. Yeah, your feed depends on your activities. If you're looking for a job, you comment somebody else's post, and then somebody talks about work, and then you comment, and then that defines your behavior, defines what goes into your feed. The more you participate in the activities that related to job, for example, and then the more job advertisement will come to your feed. So it's very important to participate actively, not just absorb everything, not just read, not just hit the click button or the like button or the emotion button. You really have to participate. Yeah, write your comment, do your own post, give some ideas. So that's how you use LinkedIn. I've been using it since 2010. I've been recruited like crazy. Seriously, I've been recruited like crazy. But because I'm not really looking for a job, then yeah, I just appreciate that they're looking for me. Yeah, if you're active and recruiters will hunt you. Yeah, not literally, but yeah, we'll try to recruit you.
Okay, next question again from Sister Hanis. How to write the achievement rather than task in working experience like internship when we don't really have any, because interns normally just do the task that we are assigned for.
Okay, the thing is, if you don't write your achievement in your resume, the way how I interpret, and the most hiring manager will interpret the same way, that you are busy, very busy, but you have nothing come out. You work very hard, but there's no results. Yeah, we are looking for result oriented. So do not underestimate. Let's say, for example, you work in retail. Yeah, you Justco, for example, or not Justco anymore. You're selling stuff, and then you help to sell clothes, for example. Your achievement is how many clothes do you sell in a week, and then how much is that translate into money worth? How much? Maybe you sell 6 or 7 a week. Fine, yeah, that's your achievement. Of course, you are not at par of those who sell thousands, but it's still achievement. So this is what we are looking at. So, and then there's a lot of achievements that you have in college rather than your education. If you do a part-time job, there's a lot of achievements there. And then if you're doing co-curriculum activities, for example, you are the president of certain club, and then you do a fundraising program, then you manage to raise 3,000 ringgit. Yeah, 3,000 ringgit to somebody may be nothing, but as a student, 3,000 ringgit is a lot. So that is your achievement. That is your contribution. You contribute to the organization. What you contribute to your organization as the president, you, let's say, for example, you president of the debate club, for example, then you debate and you go to the international level, then you win the Asian championships, or you participate in the international championship, then you secure third place. So that is achievement. So it's a lot that you can sell. It's not just, you say, this one is small matters. No, it's anything that you can sell, you sell. That is, sometimes that's why as a non-businessman, I don't know what I can sell other than my thought. For those who knows, they can sell anything. For those who don't know how to sell, even though they, there's a big thing out there in the front that can make millions, they also don't know how to sell. So it's, if you know how to sell, a small thing can be big.
Next question from Sister Putri. May I know how to answer when the interview asks how much salary are you expecting from us? Sir?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, so the question is, she wanted to know how to answer when the interviewer asks how much salary are you expecting from us, from the company.
Okay, you can ask, you can give the number. You can give the number. The best is to give a range. I'm expecting the salary from, let's say, 2002 to 2005. So, of course, you have to study the market, right? You have to study the market, and then study the industry that you're working in. There's a lot of information out there that you can study the market range. Especially, the best is to look at the job street offering. Normally, they do have a salary range on the certain position that you're applying for. Then you can really take. This is something that I find it difficult to address. Is I know you guys want to, you have to pay a lot of things. Everybody does, including myself. I have to pay a lot of things myself, but I don't get the salary that I want. The salary out there is just the market situation, the market value. I know it's sad, but this is what it is, right? And then if you're asking the reasonable price within the range of the budget for, normally you can get this information. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. But as long as you're within the budget, then it should be okay. It depends on the company itself, and depends on the budget. If you know upfront, it's better. If you don't know, then you can just name your own price. If they don't like it, then you can say it's negotiable. Then you negotiate down. If it's too much, then you can negotiate down. Yeah, it's not a problem. Don't put the rigid hard number. But if you say I'm expecting about 2005, but it's still negotiable. Negotiable means negotiable down. Yeah, it's not negotiate up. When you say negotiable, it's always negotiate down. Don't say you start lower. That's not how the business does. You sell stuff. If you don't put lower price and you negotiate up, it doesn't work. Put the high price and you negotiate up. But your high is to be careful. If it's too high, then they shut you down.
Next question from Sister Akila. How to create a CV for unsolicited job application in terms of what should be focused on?
You don't need to write a specific CV for a specific job. Yeah, your CV or your resume is a generic for you, especially for the internship. What's specific is in your cover letter. Your cover letter will explains all the details of why you think you fit for the job. That goes into your cover letter. But in CV, in resume, I'm sorry, I'm using the term interchangeably. But in your resume, as long as you have the keywords, you use the correct keywords. That if you look at the job descriptions, how you do this, you look at like 10 or 15 job descriptions. I don't know how many of them out there that you can look, maybe 10 to 15. And then from there, you can look at what kind of job descriptions they have and what the common keywords they're looking for. And then those common keywords that goes into your resume on your past experience, especially your experience that contains that keywords. The keyword you can get it from your college, you get it from your programs, you get it from your projects, you can get it from your courses for the students. Those are keywords that's important that you have to go there. If you have these matching keywords, if you're going through the ATS system, then they're only doing based on the keywords, because the ATS will check your resume contents based on the keywords they're looking for. So you do have to tailor in a sense in this context based on the keywords that you have in your resume. So if you do have a matching keyword, it doesn't have to be 100%, but if you do have matching keywords, then there's very likely that your resume will make up the next screen, the person's screen, because they go through this ATS and then later they pass it to the junior executive, and junior executive going through and screen it further, and then go to the senior executive and then screen it through, and then finally only 10 or 15 of them will get to the hiring manager.
Okay, next question from Sister Humaira. How to customize resume to apply for different position for especially when she's interested to be in either QA or QC or R&D department.
Is she a fresh graduate or she has experience? Let's suppose that you have experience, and then your experience is scattered. Yeah, your experience is scattered. You've done something else. You're not doing. You're doing product engineering. You're doing QA. You're doing R&D. You're doing productions. You're doing tons of other stuff before you get into a QA. And then in that case, then your job history still remains, but your focus is more on your QA experience, because I don't think the question comes from a fresh graduate. The question comes from the experienced guy. So we just focus on the QA activities that you have in your resume. So that is the part that takes a lot of spaces in your resume compared to the rest. And then you covered it up in your cover letter during the application. Specifically, provide more evidence of saying why you think that you fit for QA and QC and R&D. There's the word of caution that if you are a fresh graduate, please, I repeat, please understand what R&D means in the industry. You're not sitting in the lab wearing white coats playing with chemical. No. Yeah, if you have this idea of R&D work like you've seen in the movie, forget it. You won't get a job then. Yeah, you understand what exactly R&D means in the industry. I've seen a lot of candidates that comes to me, one insists to be R&D because that's what he did in university. then it won't happen in industry. I hope that answered the question.
So we have our third last question. Is that if it's okay with you? From Wen J Yo. Let's say you want to apply for engineering position, but you have several part-time experiences that are completely different, like retail, customer service, etc. Is it okay to put all in, or only the relevant experience, like internship with engineering companies?
Okay, the thing is, do you have enough experience to support that you are good fit for the position? Yeah, if you just internship, it's not enough. Then the rest of the experience, we're looking for the transferable skills. If you have transferable skills, other transferable skills, because when you work, this is the wrong perceptions. It's normally from the youngsters. They look at, if you work in engineering, you have to be a technical person. Not necessarily true. You also has an element communication part, the human part, the EQ part inside, the IQ part inside. So this is the part that where you can showcase that you have those people skills or customer service skills in your previous job if you're doing retail, for example. But in the engineering world, you still doing your customer service because you are supporting your internal customer, whoever wants to require your job up in your service. Because the department depends within that department. Like, for example, the engineering department supporting the production departments. Therefore, your production is your customers. Then we want to see that you do have that, the customer skills or customer interactions. And then you work in a team or not. And then you have that. You work in a team during your high school, during their projects. You work in a team. So you are team members. If you don't talk about your project, then where else that you showcase that you have this working in a team experience? You maybe in the engineering world, you always or non-engineering world, most of your job is a project related, project driven. Where do you get this project done? And then you may have in your part-time job, you do the improvement project in how you arrange the display on your retail, for example. So that is a project. Now how you do that. So that's also part of your experience. That's why I said earlier, do not underestimate the experience that you that you had during your part-time job. But of course, if you have experience later, you already work in engineering long enough, let's say 5-6 years, then your experience in the retail won't matter anymore. Then that you can drop them from your resume. But until then, you can show as much as you can. That is the transferable skills that you get to complement the lack of technical skill that you have. Then also that one also shows your attitude. It shows your personality, because that's another element of working. You're not just robot machine that only focus on technical. You also have to be human. So to be a good human, that comes from your experience dealing with people in the past.
Okay. From Brother Akmal, if my CGPA is quite low, how to assure the company to still hire me?
It depends how low is low. Yeah, if you're low, let's say within the 2.7, 2.8, I think it's still doable. But if you're like in the range of 2.5, and then it's quite difficult. But you have to you have to ukur baju di badan sendiri, right? That means if you're insisting to get into this MNC that requires you to have 3.5, then no chance. Then you have to go to the next level, SME looking for 3.3 or 3.0 to 3.5. Then if you're not 3, then forget about this SME. Then you have to look at the smallest company. And then you start your career in the smallest company that who can hire you. And then from then on, after 2 to 3 years, then your CGPA won't matter anymore. You learn as much as you can. You gain as much experience that can sell. You can come back to the company if you're interested. You want to go by then. I can guarantee you, if you're doing well, you can get a job there. It's only you have to delay it a little bit later, maybe 3 to 4 years, to gain your experience. But you really have to make up make up your performance, your education performance with your real life experience. But if you behave the same way that you behave while you in college, that leading you to the low grades, then you're gonna have a problem. Then you have to compensate and say you get a long grade because of whatever education you don't like, but you like your work, you like what you do. Then you show your performance, and then you can show that in the 3 years or 4 years, you got increment to the top, and then you got promotion twice, for example. Then you can show to the big guys and say, hey, though my result and my education result is not as strong as those who get 4 flat, but this is what I've been doing, my performance in the past, for the past 4 or 5 years, I'm good to work for your company. But it's a little bit challenging to begin with, but you have to aim low. You cannot aim high anymore, you have to aim low, but I can guarantee you, if you're doing it well, you really like your job, you can surpass your friend who's get to work in MNC very easily in the next 10 years or so. It's fair, right? If you don't do well in college, then you start low, unfortunately.
Right, so our final question, if I'm not that active during my university life and I just rely on my good CGPA, how to convince the interviewer that I'm the best candidate?
What else do you have? Yeah, what else do you have? If you do have some other qualities that they're looking for, your hardworking, your attitude, your transferable skill that you get somewhere else to meet that, because they're looking for attitude. Yeah, they're looking for the how committed you are. If you can convince that you are very committed in what you do, though you don't participate, you can give the reason why you don't participate in co-curriculum activities, because you want to focus on your academic result. This is how you do it, to focus in your academic result. And then you provide that during the interview. In the resume, it's not much you can say, because there's not much there to write as far as co-curriculum activities. But how else that you develop that skill they're looking for? So the soft skills, how else? Do you have any other means of doing that without going through the co-curriculum activities? You may work part-time somewhere, or you may do your hobbies somewhere that is related, but to develop that skills. But if you just purely academic and focus on academic alone, some company likes it, some company don't. It's not much you can do if you don't have anything else. From what I heard, that for those who are not active in academic and not active in co-curriculum activities, from the past experience, they don't do well, because they are really go by the book. They don't have any life experience. But that doesn't mean you won't get a job, because if it so happens that you get a boss who's similar to you, then maybe the boss can hire you. Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I think that's all questions from our participants. So a final reminder to all our participants, please fill in the attendance form and the feedback form that's given in the chat box. So we have finally come to the end of our event. It has been a great day and a wonderful morning with all of you. I would like to thank Mr. Ishak for spending almost 2 hours with us, and the program manager for coming up with this exceptional program. Our ever so lovely and hardworking committees that helped to ensure everything that went smoothly today, and our dearest participants for joining our program. May Allah bless you and a very good day to each and every one of you. Before leaving, I would like to invite everyone to turn on your camera and share your most dashing smile for our photography session. Thank you. I will give like a minute so you guys can on your camera, but I really hope you guys could on your camera. Okay, so if that's all, okay, I will count to 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, again, sorry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you all for joining.